Mr. Israel, bring that fire out.
Hey, what is going on? This is another tutorial on how to remove frizz around your subject. A lot of times when we cut out our subject, we have little outlines around our subject. So today I'm gonna show you how to remove some of that frizz so it won't show up in your composition. You want to select your quick selection tool, which is located on the upper left hand corner, or if you hit W, it will activate your quick selection tool. So select the area around your subject, and in this particular tutorial with this image, you can see that the subject is separated from the background. So we just got to do a little fine tuning here and there, you know, around the eyes, around the nose. But it's not so much that we have to do as far as selecting our subject, okay? So once we get everything selected, we want to invert the selection. We're inverting the selection because in this image, I've selected the background because it's less details that I have to worry about. Because if I was using the person or selecting the person, I would have had to select his face, his jacket, stuff like that. So to quickly select around him, I selected the background and inverted. And once we inverted it, we hit select and mask. Now your settings may be a little different. You will want to adjust your settings to where you're comfortable, okay? I use this setting because it's easier for me to see what is being selected as I'm working on it. So now we're going to choose our refine brush in order to get those little areas that we missed out, okay? So make sure you check your settings on the brush. You can locate that on the top bar. And what I'm doing right now is just adjusting the size. You can adjust the size of your brush to get the areas that you need to correct. I really like the refine brush. This is a great tool to have.
Mr. Israel, bring that fire out.
So I'm going over certain areas, his eyes, his hair. You know, just getting those fine areas that we couldn't get in the selection earlier, we're getting it now with the refine brush. Definitely the hair. Definitely the hair. We want to get most of the hair in there. All right. So once we get that, then put in your settings. These are my go-to settings for when I'm ready to cut someone out. But like I said, you want to play around and adjust it to your liking. And this is your art, okay? This is your ideas, your creativity. So play around with it, adjust it to your liking. All right. Once we have everything together, we're gonna output it. We're gonna output it with the layer mask. And now you have your subject cut out. So I'm gonna create another layer, and I'm gonna put it behind the subject. That way you can see the frizz, what we call a frizz. We want to get rid of that frizz line. So I'm gonna show you a couple of techniques that's gonna allow you to remove that frizz line. This first one, we're using the minimum effect to go around the edges of the subject. And our main focus is on the layer mask. We're only going to be working on the layer mask. We're moving this around. That way you can actually see how this takes effect. So like I said, it's no rule of thumb. You just adjust it to see how much it takes out. It may take a lot out, so you just want to do 1 pixel. On most images, I use 1 pixel. Alright, so after messing around with it, you kind of see that it only takes some things out.
Mr. Israel, bring that fire out.
That looks pretty good right there. That's as much as we're going to get out of that. Okay. As you can see, there's some of that taken out. So I'm going to show you another way where we can take some of that frizz out. So you want to make sure that your layer mask is selected. Get your brush tool. Make sure that your settings is set on overlay. Your blend mode is on overlay. You bring your flow down a little bit. So we're just going to go over that outline. We're going over that outline to take some of that frizz out. Okay, so now you're actually seeing what I'm doing now. I'm showing the layer mask by holding Alt and clicking on the layer mask, and now I'm coloring over that outline once again so you can see what's going on. And that overlay is going right over the white, over your highlights. It's not touching that. But now there's another method that you can use. You can use your burn tool or your dodge tool, and it works the same way. With these few techniques, this will allow you to remove the frizz from around your subject. Your burn tool usually works over the dark sections, and your dodge works over the white sections.